That's all about you deploy. Let me touch upon you release before I open up to questions. So whatever we have discussed thus far is about deployment automation, right? So deployment automation is, as I already mentioned a number of times, that it should be on a click of a button, a magic happens, something gets deployed, and people can do and perform their jobs. As in, they can test the software, they can validate the software, and certify what's happening. So in the back end, the most important thing is, somebody actually has to orchestrate the complete process of developers, engineers, what is happening in the release engineering space, incorporate customer feedback. So basically, when we talk about release is a release planning and orchestration tool. So what typically you can identify that this release product, it has different templates available, and these templates, with different templates, you can actually first design your releases. It also has a tight integration with udeploy. So every time from udeploy, environment is being promoted from, let's say, from one environment to the other environment, you really come to know that, okay, typically somebody sitting as a release manager has a clear dashboard which says him, what are the processes that are in place, what are the things, my software, which version of software right now is release ready. If we are stuck, what are the bottlenecks? And also when we talk about releases, there are different phases in a release. I mean, it typically begins with the development phase and ends, let's say, with the operations phase or the deployment phase. Between all these, between these two things, there are a whole lot of phases that happen. And and as you move from one phase to the other phase, as you promote an environment, there are some exit criteria, and you actually have to have audit trail on those exit criteria. Let's say you move from from development phase to the testing phase. If the things were taken care of, who did what, that kind of a bird's eye. And if somebody has to watch or keep what is the health of my product, then you release is a product wherein somebody can come and see what is happening and how things are happening. Also, while we talk about release, we say that it's basically a spreadsheet killer. So that's how it basically orchestrates the complete release and automation process. So while we talk about automation and release management, let's see at this chart, the chart that I am on, as to which tool does what. I'll wait for a minute for the slide to come up. Yeah. So while we talk about automation and management, we know that udeploy automates deployments. Udeploy also has a visual process designer. The process designer is nothing but a flowchart kind of a thing that we see in the slides before, which basically helps you define the process of deployment. Then we have plugin actions for application containers, web servers. This is something when we talk about the sweet spot of udeploy. The kind of integrations it has with different softwares, and the kind of the kind of environment it can work in. I mean, it can work in pretty large amount of heterogeneous environment, and it can basically, using the process designer and different flowcharts, it can basically model environments and deployment targets. And so this is at the ease of the users who are using this to basically use them. Then we talk about release management. It basically enforce quality gates for environments. So these quality gates are nothing but exit criteria when we flow from one phase to the other phase. So both these exit criteria are available in both udeploy and urelease, but in udeploy, the exit criteria would be different. They would be different criteria when we basically talk about deployment upgradation or deployment promotion from a development phase to a testing phase. But when we talk about release management, when we talk about exit criteria, it's basically a superset of deployment or not. So there could be a whole bunch of other exit criteria, whether it has passed through a certification phase or whether it, certain security things have been taken care of. So all these things, all these processes can actually be covered using new release. Again, management of infrastructure in addition to the application changes can be done. So when we talk about releases, one of the important things that we need to understand is that it's not about softwares, right? So at the end of the day, these softwares actually need to have certain hardware, certain resources where they can get actually deployed to. And there's always a gap wherein the hardware is not ready, the OS are not available, or the machines, machine configuration is not available to what somebody has, or what are the machines available, what are the teams who would be working. Because for each release there would be a different team as in, probably one team would be looking at, let's say, release 1.0 and the other team might be looking at 1.2. So, based on the tool the release should provide a view wherein, you can identify looking at the tool that, what are the hardware resources available. So that kind of a view the tool should be able to provide, and who is working on what, as in which resources, which engineers are actually being engaged for release 1.0 and who all are working for release 1.2, and, how the gates are being met from one release to the other. And as I said, it's when we talk about new release, it's basically real-time status for long production releases. So every day, every morning, somebody can come and see whether I am on schedule, my release is on schedule. If it's not on schedule, if I'm lagging, what is the time that I'm lagging? I mean, if I'm lagging by days, if I'm lagging by weeks, and there are different flags that get set, and necessary actions, necessary notifications based on the criteria that one has set up. Would be sent if there are, if the tool sees that something is going bad. So bringing both these together, that is deployment automation and deployment management or release management, basically typically eases out the process of software deployment and helps realize DevOps methodology. And based on whatever we are gauging from market trends, this is the clear-cut need of the hour, and we are just embracing the challenges that have been thrown up by the changing customer expectations. So to conclude, I would conclude my slide with how we should understand the challenge that we have for a continuous delivery pipeline, because we need to ensure that our applications are production ready throughout the life cycle and can be released anytime. And while we talk about risk mitigation, we talk about risk. The application should also be able to minimize rollback due to quality issues. So when we talk about, let's say, you deploy, that okay, fine, if something has bad has gone with version 1.2. At the back end, you already have version 1.1 that has already been certified. So the rollback process, the risk mitigation, they are automatically being taken care of through once you have continuous delivery pipeline in place. Also, this gives flexibility to all stakeholders, who are involved in application software development, right from developers to the people who are doing operations, to actually validate on a customer-like environment. And this is nothing but standardization of a process assets between dev and ops. So definitely we now realize that once until unless we have that, we will not be able to bring customer feedback soon and get the same back into development. So the last slide that I'm on is, it typically talks about some of the investments that some of our partners have done. Some of our customers have done in continuous delivery and DevOps, and they are also users of UrbanCode, and all this is publicly available, and we are happy to share, the success stories of some of them. And customers have clearly observed, have bigger ROI, and they have clearly understood, have reaped benefits of investing in something like DevOps and using appropriate tools to realize what all we have. So that's all I have for today.